locked away, far from home, dependent on the very people who control every aspect of your daily life, and then discovering that the system meant to guard you has failed in the worst possible way. It's about power, accountability, and what's happening behind the walls of America's immigration detention centers. A former contract detention officer at a United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Louisiana has pleaded guilty to sexually abusing a woman while she was held in federal custody. The case has reignited intense scrutiny of conditions inside privately run immigration detention centers and raised serious questions about oversight, safety, and accountability within the United States immigration system. The officer, 56-year-old David Corvell, entered a guilty plea in federal court on December 29, 2025. He admitted to one count of sexual abuse of a ward or an individual in federal custody, a charge that carries a possible sentence of up to 15 years in prison and fines that could reach $250,000. Corvell worked as a contract detention officer at the South Louisiana ICE Processing Center between January and July of that year. The facility is operated by Geo Group Incorporated, the largest private prison contractor working with ICE. So, according to federal prosecutors, Corvell repeatedly abused a woman from Nicaragua who was being held at the facility over several months. Court documents really emphasize that because she was detained and under his authority, federal law considers the situation inherently coercive. In other words, any claim of consent is legally irrelevant. The power imbalance alone makes the conduct a crime. Prosecutors say Corvell went to considerable lengths to hide his actions. He allegedly smuggled gifts to the woman, including food, jewelry, letters, and even photographs of her daughter. Investigators also say he arranged for other staff members to act as lookouts so he could avoid being caught. The situation only came to light in July, when facility staff observed Corvell and the detainee exiting a janitorial closet together. Shortly afterward, he was transferred to another unit and later resigned from his position. When investigators from ICE's Office of the Inspector General questioned him in September, Corvell initially denied any inappropriate relationship. Prosecutors say he confessed roughly 30 minutes into the interview. Despite the seriousness of the charge, Corvell was released on a $10,000 bond. His sentencing is scheduled for April 10, 2026. While this case is disturbing on its own, advocates argue it reflects a much larger problem. Reports of abuse and neglect inside ICE detention facilities have increased in recent years, particularly as the federal government has expanded detention operations. Critics say the speed and scale of detentions have worsened long-standing oversight gaps, especially in facilities run by private, for-profit contractors. 14 of the 20 largest ICE detention centers in the United States are located in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas, a region immigrant advocates often call Deportation Alley. Most of these facilities are privately operated. Across the nation, for-profit companies actually run about 90% of ICE detention centers. In Louisiana alone, all but one of the state's 9 ICE facilities are privately managed. Geo Group, which operates several ICE detention centers, reported more than $682 million in revenue in the third quarter of 2025. That's an increase of roughly $80 million compared to the same period the previous year. Meanwhile, more than 65,000 people are currently being held in ICE custody across the country. Corvell's guilty plea comes just weeks after civil rights organizations filed federal complaints against another Geo Group-operated facility in Louisiana. Those complaints, filed on behalf of one woman and 3 transgender detainees, alleged widespread sexual abuse, harassment, forced labor, retaliation, and denial of medical care over a span of 2 years. According to the filings, the alleged misconduct involved correctional officers, ICE personnel, and even a former assistant warden. The claims include sexual assault, denial of essential medication, and retaliatory placement in solitary confinement. Similar allegations have surfaced in other states. Detainees in Texas have submitted sworn statements describing physical abuse that allegedly led to hospitalizations. Federal judges have also stepped in at temporary detention sites in New York and Chicago, ordering improvements after reports of overcrowding, poor sanitation, and inadequate access to food and medical care. As of now, ICE has not publicly commented on Corvell's case. Requests for comment from the agency remain unanswered. Legal experts say the prosecution highlights two critical realities. First, individual officers can and will face criminal consequences for abusing detainees. Second, the case raises broader constitutional and civil rights questions about the federal government's reliance on private prison companies to detain immigrants. When detention is outsourced to profit-driven contractors, critics argue cost-cutting and weak oversight can create dangerous conditions, especially for people who already have limited ability to report abuse or seek help. This case is not just about one officer or one facility. It's about a system that places tens of thousands of vulnerable people in closed environments where transparency is limited, and accountability often comes only after harm has occurred. As legal proceedings continue and more allegations come to light, the debate over immigration detention, private prisons, and human rights is likely to intensify. What happens next could shape policies, oversight practices, and the future of detention in the United States. If you found this report important, please like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth coverage of stories that matter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.